What's up? What's up? We are live again. What's up, Myra? I am doing well. How about yourself? I appreciate you for asking. Let's see. Just give me a moment. I'm still setting things up, making sure you guys can see everything nice. All right. So y'all already know we're gonna start with the plays of the day, right? Y'all already know. Well, actually, hold on a second. Let me fix this because let's go here. Because I don't want to confuse anybody today, right? See something. Good, good. Hey, what's up, Yaz? Appreciate you tapping in. What's up? What's up? Welcome to the new channel. I appreciate you guys tapping in. You guys are the dream team. You two, you and Myra for sure. I hear how you guys are cooking in the background. Listen, man, keep going. Keep going. You guys deserve every single gain you take out of this market for sure. For sure. Keep going. Keep going. And don't let anybody tell you different. All right, so we're just going to wait for a few more people to tap in. And then we are, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. It really makes my soul sing when I can share information that helps anybody take gains out of this market, right? I really think that has really become a gift of mine. Like I always, a transparent, quick transparency right now. I've always wanted to actually teach, right? But I never thought it would be adults. I always wanted to teach little kids because I like having conversations with young minds when they are in their earliest learning stages, because we can show them and help them grow in such an amazing way, right? I learned that because I have some small boys, and I learned that when from the time they are from infancy all the way up to 3, that's when they are learning to read, and then after 3 years old, they're transitioning to reading to learn, right? So I think it is imperative to really have that conversation with smaller kids when they're going through their learning phases, and you'd be surprised how they may turn out into their adolescent years and growing into adults. I'm telling you, it's a game changer, right? So yeah, it was really cool to hear that the information that I'm sharing with adults is definitely positioning them to take gains out of this market. I think it's really, really cool. What's up, Alika? Appreciate you tapping in. Appreciate you tapping in. I was just having a moment of transparency in regards to me teaching. And I'm a very simple individual, right? So when I show people the information that I'm sharing, I try to keep that as simple as possible, right? I'm a huge fan of the KISS method, and that is keep it simple, stupid. And of course, that isn't to insult anyone's intellectual levels here, but nonetheless, for me, that's how I learn, right? Keeping it as simple as possible. And I find that when you break down complex things as simple as possible for people to take it in, it just makes it that much easier, right? I was talking to some people yesterday, and I was explaining to them how, to me, curiosity is one of life's greatest indicators, right? What happens when you're curious about something? You will start to move towards it, right? And I don't care what it is, right? But here's the trick. You got to make sure whatever that curiosity, excuse me, is leading you, that it is pulling you, or you're moving in a positive direction, right? Because curiosity can also pull us or lead us in a negative direction as well, right? So we got to make sure that we are moving in a positive direction when it comes to curiosity, right? Very, very important. All right, so please share this with 2 or 3 people. I would definitely appreciate that. And we're gonna start cooking around 11:10 Eastern Standard Time, because I want to get some more people in here, so I don't have to repeat myself, because I'm sure everybody's looking at NVIDIA today, right? The market is moving because of NVIDIA today, right? Now it's also moving because the courts have overturned a lot of the tariff talks, right? So one thing the market loves is certainty, right? Everyone panics when it comes to uncertainty, right? And it is one thing about this new administration is that they, it is just my opinion, right? They are indeed making the market go crazy, right? And this is why I keep stressing, today's market is not yesterday's market. When you get up and you look at the market tomorrow, please don't think it's going to be the same today. Now, you may have some tickers that are moving the same as today, but psychologically, right, you have to get out of the mindset that today's market is going to perform like yesterday's market. And I'm just talking about from an overall perspective, right? Because you will have some of those tickers that are moving in an upward trend at this point, right? Because I think it's considered a trend. And don't quote me on it, but I believe it's considered a trend when it starts moving in one direction days at a time. Me personally, as a day trader, I like to catch that momentum when it's moving in minutes and hours, right? So, whew. All right, so here we go. Let's cook, y'all. All right, so I am looking at NVIDIA, right? I got into an NVIDIA play for, I have it out to next week. And as you can see right now, NVIDIA is consolidated, right? Which is what I anticipated, right? I anticipated, and I was having this conversation in the Discord, and also with some individuals yesterday, about how you got to make sure when the market opens, there are 2 time frames that you got to pay attention to. And that is between 9:35 and 9:45, and then between 10 and 11, and maybe even 11:30. And the reason why I say that is because people are going to take gains, right? They are going to take gains. And that's exactly what we saw in between 9:45, I'm sorry, excuse me, in between 9:35 and let's see what time frame we're on. Right, we're on the 5-minute, right? We saw that right here. We saw it right there, right? 9:35 and 9:45. What happened with NVIDIA? It started going down, right? What happened after 10? We started getting some of that momentum coming back up, right? So, from my perspective, and guys, please remember, this is not financial advice, right? I am not a financial advisor. So anything I share with you today is you have to make sure if you decide to take this information and run with it, you do your own diligence, right? This is all from my perspective, all right? When I am showing you this stuff, is just the simple tips and tricks that I use to take gains out of this market on a daily basis, all right? So, as I said, so NVIDIA is consolidated right now, right? What happened with NVIDIA? She started consolidating to the downside, right? And then she rejected around 139.32, okay? Can you guys see my whole screen? Just let me get one in the chat if you can see the whole screen. I just want to make sure. Just let me know, guys. Let me know if you can see the whole chart. Let me get a 1 if you can see the whole chart, because I don't want to keep talking and you guys are not seeing what I'm seeing. All right, cool. All right, great, great. Actually, before I proceed with getting deep into NVIDIA, how are you guys feeling? Are you feeling amazing today? Today is Take Gains Thursday, right? So let's take some gains. If you are feeling amazing, let me get a 1 in the chat, right? Let me get a 1 in the chat. What's up, Lisa? Where you been? I hope you've been high and taking those gains. We haven't spoken in a couple days, so I hope you've been high and taking those gains, all right? Yeah, so let me get some 1s in the chat if you are feeling amazing, right? We are taking gains today, right? I love it. NVIDIA did as well. I love it. Now listen, sometimes you have to go to work, right? Sometimes you have to. And it's, listen, don't discount work, right? Discount, if you remember, you got to understand that that 9 to 5 is a consistent income on a, whether it's a weekly or bi-weekly, or if your salary, monthly, however they do it nowadays. Well, listen, that's money coming in, right? As long as the outcome is income, that's it, right? So I know that sometimes we want to be playing in the market when we're at work, but guess what? We just have to use our time wisely, and when we have the opportunity to play in the market, that's when we take advantage of, right? And that's it. We just got to keep this as simple as possible. Time management is key, especially if you have a 9 to 5, right? One thing I've learned about the market, it makes some amazing moves in between 9:30 and 11:30, right? So if you take your lunch at 11, or if you get the opportunity to get those 10-minute breaks, right? There you go. That's an opportunity right there. Take that 10-minute break, look at the market, get into position, right? If you're a day trader, right, you set your alerts on your chart, right? If you're a swing, you're still going to set those alerts, but now you're just giving yourself time, right? But either way, when you do position yourself in opportunities, you still got to give yourself time, right? That goes without saying. All right, so let's get back into a video. All right, so like I said, she is consolidated. She came down to the down. She consolidated to the downside in the beginning around what's this 10 o'clock, right? And now she the bottom of consolidation is 139.32, right? That area right there is a nice area of rejection. Why? Because what happened? Bounced right back up, right? And then NVIDIA came right here at 141, around 141.93, and it rejected. She rejected there within the last hour. Well, since the market's been open, right? We got a rejection here once, twice, 3, 4, right? We got 4 rejections right there. So you know what that's telling me? That is telling me once we go past 141.93, NVIDIA is going to run up to at least 142.22, right? I have a few levels of NVIDIA set, and I know people may think I'm crazy when it comes to these levels, right? But they are my levels giving me alerts, letting me know what's happening with NVIDIA, right? I think that is extremely important. Let me blow it up a little bit so you guys can get a better view. And then I'm going to call out all of my levels, okay? All right, so if NVIDIA breaks, hold on a second, where we at right now? All right, so if NVIDIA breaks right here at 141.93, we are going to see 142.22, okay? Next, if that momentum keeps coming and the buyers are still buying, right, we're going to see 142.65, right? The next, 142.97, 143.43, 143.73, and move this down, and then 144.35, right? Next, I have it going to 146.21. And I know you guys may think, well, like, where is this guy going with this, right? This guy's crazy. There's no way that NVIDIA is going to hit all these alerts today. But guess what? I am 100% okay with that. I don't need it to hit all of the alerts today. I just need those alerts to trigger at some point, right? Because all I need to know is that NVIDIA is moving in the direction I need her to move, which is up, because I'm in a call, right? I am in a $150 strike out to next Friday, right? My plan is to take some gains today on some of the contracts and let the rest run until tomorrow, right? I don't see NVIDIA making any significant move over the weekend. Why? Because it's the weekend. And another reason why is because everything that's going on as far as these tariff talks, right? I know that administration has something up their sleeves in regards to the overturn of these tariff talks, right? So, as I always say, we got to make sure we understand what's happening outside to be able to make the best decisions inside, right? So, my last alert on NVIDIA is at 153.65. Okay, that is how far I anticipate NVIDIA running up until anywhere between today and tomorrow. All right. So, yeah. So again, I really don't plan on holding this past tomorrow. All right. Keeping this as simple as possible because all I want to do is hit my percentage gains, and the market can have it. Right. That's all I'm concerned about. Right. So, so tell me, guys, how many of you? I'm sorry. What else are you guys looking at outside of NVIDIA? Right. I know NVIDIA is moving the market like crazy today. We got CRWV going up, and then what happened when NVIDIA started to come down? So did CRWV. As a matter of fact, I was talking to a young lady earlier about CRWV, and where are you, CRWV? And I did get an alert for it to hit my target area to the downside. There we go, right here. Right? It triggered. It was around 117. Look at that right there. It hit 117 somewhere in this area, right? And it rejected. Look at that. Oh, man, I'm so mad I missed that. It rejected at 112.98. How crazy is that? Right? How crazy is that? Man, oh man, you gotta love this game, right? Sometimes once you really understand and speak the language of the chart, it really makes it that much easier to get in and out of these plays, right? Okay, so we got Tesla and SMCI. All right, cool. So speaking of Tesla, I'm sure you guys have saw the information he put out on, I think it was on X, about how he is officially stepping down and how he appreciated all the time spent in the Doge community, and how the Doge community is going to continue to make some great strides in the future in regards to efficiency. Well, we'll see, right? We shall see. But what I found interesting, right, is how, and if any of you guys have been following Project 2025, right, I find it very interesting about how when he steps down, the individual that is heading the project is now taken over, right? And just listen, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just talking about what I see and what I read and what I hear, right? That's it. So you can take that information, put it anywhere you want. You can dissect it, right? I'm just talking about what I see, read, and hear, right? That's it. Because I don't want nobody hitting me up and, oh, you plotting this and you plotting that. Nope. I'm not plotting anything but to take gains out this market, right? All right, so let's look at Tesla. All right, so when we're looking at Tesla, are you in a swing? Are you in a day trade? You got to let me know, all right? How would you want me to look at this, all right? Just let me know real quick, Myra. Also, you as well, Yaz, let me know how you want me to look at it. Are you looking at it from a swing perspective, from a day trade perspective? Just let me know. Let me know in the chat real quick so I know how to proceed. Because as we can see right here on the 5-minute, Tesla is consolidated. All right. Are you in a call out to June? Oh, okay. I'm actually in a call out to June as well. And I'm also in a call out to July, right? And let me see what they're doing right about now. I'm gonna tell you exactly what positions I'm in too. All right, so I'm in a $700 call that expires 7/18, and right now I'm up 202%. Okay, I am in a 450 call out to what's this expiration? Actually, out to next week, and believe it or not, this may sound weird, but I'm actually down 74%. Wow, amazing, right? It's clear to say that I definitely got in on that position, not at the right price, but it's okay. All right. I'm just gonna let it ride out, like I said, until next week, and and see what it does. Right. Sometimes you just gotta let it do what it do. Right. Now I wouldn't recommend you letting it do often. Right. But I do know that there is positive news when it comes to Tesla. Right. Elon has said that he's officially all in, and then not only that, they plan on launching the robo taxis in the beginning of June. Right. I believe it's going to be somewhere in Texas. Right? So I do expect Tesla to pop at some point. And worst case scenario, in that position, I'll just break even, and I'm okay with that. Right? All right. So let's look at Tesla from the daily time frame. Okay. All right. And as you can see, I already have my alert set with Tesla. Right? Right now, Tesla is at just above 1.5%. Right? Which gives her some nice momentum to the upside, right? We just need Tesla to break that 367.86, right? And then we have another level of resistance right here at 375.54. And then my other target areas are 382.27, 385.72, and then 393.60, right? My take profit, let me add this alert right here too, at 407.52, because that's when it officially starts to run up, right? And then my next level is at 417.65, right? That is where I plan on taking profit, anywhere between 417.65 and 429 flat, right? That is this area right here is the area I plan on taking gains. Okay. Let's see. What's up, Terry? Appreciate you tapping in. Do I typically buy out of the money options? Yes, that is correct. I typically do. And the reason why I do that, because I want to get some of those gains as it runs up, right? Especially if the delta is looking good, as well as the gamma and the theta, right? So yes, the majority of the time when I am picking plays, it is out of the money. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some. If I'm in a day trade, I do like to get closer to. I like to get closer to end the money, because then it just runs up that much quicker, right? Now again, if you do day trade, you got to make sure you are careful. Why? Because you are trading a premium product, right? That theta is going to smack your gains if you don't get out in time, right? Me personally, I like to typically, if I'm in a 0 DTE, I like to be in that play no more than 15-20 minutes tops, right? And I've been in position before at hours at a time, but when I tell you my heart is beating every single minute of that as time passes, right? And I just don't like that feeling, so I like to be in it for 15-20 minutes tops, right? So I think that's really, really important, right? Because like I said, that theta, it will hurt your gains, right? So you got to be careful if you're playing 0 DTE, okay? All right, so Myra, let me know if that helps, if my perspective on Tesla helps. Let's look at it from a 3-day perspective as well, right? Still in a good position, right? She came out of that consolidation and she ran up, right? Now, just looking at it, right, there's a possibility that she may consolidate in between anywhere sometime between tomorrow and maybe even Monday or Tuesday. I anticipate Tesla consolidating again, right? And the reason why is because it is going to have to build some type of momentum to get that run up again. Okay. All right, cool. Glad to see that my perspective helped. Okay. Okay, cool. All right, great. Love to see that, Terry. Love to see that, because you'd be surprised how quicker you can reach your, especially if you're swinging, right? You'd be surprised how quicker you can actually reach your target percentage if you get out of the money, right? I really do like it. That is definitely a sweet spot for me. Okay. All right. So now let's look at SMCI. I don't see how SMCI is still around. SMCI has become like the Pfizer of of the tech space, right? Just keeps bouncing in between two price points for the longest, right? It's just crazy. Yeah, such a headache, man. Such a true headache. Ever since they got caught doing all that shifty business, man, the market hasn't been in their favor ever since, right? And can you blame them? All right, so let's break down SMCI from my perspective, right? So as you can see on the daily, it's consolidated. Now, the great part about it being consolidated right now, it is bouncing. It rejected at 309, around 309.02, right? And right now we're sitting at 41.77, right? So we got some nice upward momentum, right? Just from that rejection, right? In order for it to make some more moves, we needed to come above 43.88, right? If we hit that 43.88, we are going to have some resistance right here at 45.53, okay? And then we have another area which is outside of the consolidation, which is where if it breaks out to the upside, it is going to have to break that 46.64. Right? And if we break that 46.64, we're going to see some nice upward momentum, right? Let's have a look at the volume, all right? Their average volume is 53.01, right? Right now, it's sitting at 21.05. Their next earnings in 75 days. Got a long ways to go, and that is August 12th, all right? Their last earnings, of course, they didn't do too good. One before that, they didn't do too good, right? So it really all depends what type of shocking news they are going to present for Q2. This is May, that's Q1. Yeah, Q2, right? So that's going to be interesting to see, right? But like I said, she's first going to have to break that 43.88 to the upside, and then the bottom of resistance at 45.53, and then break out of consolidation at 46.64 in order to see more upward movement on SMCI. But I got to tell you this, right? If she falls and breaks out of consolidation past 39.02, well, guess where she's going, right? Around 37.03, right? If you look in the past, she was consolidated here and here. So she kept bouncing between 37.30 and around 28.95, right? That was about in the middle of April, all right? So here we are at the beginning of May. She was bouncing in between 355.22 and around 30.49, right? So if she falls, right, those are levels. If she breaks, she's going to keep falling, right? So just be careful on your calls. But like I said, once you have that time, right, that's all that matters. Because when time is on your side, that's a good thing, right? So, what else? What else are we looking at today? Let's take a quick peek at NVDA again, see what she's doing. All right, let's go down to the 5-minute. Let's blow this up. Look at that, still consolidated. All right, look at that. That's insane. Still consolidated, right? But what we need We need to come right above 141.93 and break out of consolidation all the way up at 143.43, right? And this is what we want, all right? CRWV, all right, I'll look at CRWV next, all right? Yeah, so once we break out of that consolidation, yeah, we're going to get some nice momentum up to the upside, right? And I'm looking for that 144.35 to break up and hit 146.21, right? We'll probably end up seeing that sometime this afternoon during power hour, which is between 3 and 4, right? Because everybody has taken a lot of their gains, right? So what that means is a lot of people are going to be starting to creep back in, right? Their average volume is 226.94. Look at what it's sitting at right now, at 201.82, and it's climbing, right? So I can almost guarantee you by lunchtime, or maybe a little bit after lunchtime, we are going to see this number surpass this number, and that's what you want, especially if the buyers are jumping in, right? Because then we're going to push NVIDIA up to those levels that I just spoke about, okay? All right, let's look at CRWV again. Let's see, where are you, CRWV? With your bad self, all right? Let's see. Man, I can't believe that she really dropped down to that one. Woo! Man, oh man. Wait, maybe I'm tripping. Did you drop down to that 112? No, you actually didn't. What was I looking at earlier? Is it the hour? Ah, that was yesterday when it hit that, rejected at 112. Okay, my apologies for giving you the wrong information about that. But it did indeed fall below my other level, which was at 117 and some change, right? So we're going to put this alert back here at the top of support at 118.53, right? So if we fall below that, then we definitely have the potential to hit that 112.98 if the sellers continue to creep in, right? Look at that average volume, 18.97, and we are currently at 20.13, right? And then they have earnings in 97 days, which is, I believe, sometime in, was it September? Yep, September 3rd, right? I believe that's a Friday. Yeah, because Memorial Day is usually that Monday. All right, so, but yeah, so I definitely see, and keep in mind too, CRWV has hit multiple all-time highs within the last 2 weeks, right? I think today's current high is, let me confirm. Their current high, today's high was 130.76. Man, listen. Man, listen. Every time I look at CRWV, I want to beat myself down because I was having a conversation with a young lady months ago about CRWV, right? Unbelievable. I could kick myself for not taking her advice. But I can tell you this, she definitely got in and she is cooking right now with CRWV, all right? So kudos to you for sure, for sure, for sure, right? All right, so going back to breaking down CRWV, right? So right now we are sitting at just above we're almost at 4%, which is great, right? But we still need her to go above around 122.42 so we can hit that area of rejection at 124.64, right? And I'm doing this on an hour time frame, right? Because we're going to need time on this. That's for sure, right? Because as those buyers begin to creep in, and then look, we're getting closer to 12 o'clock, which means the London market will be shutting down, right? So a lot of that volume may start to fall, right? And then it's going to pick up maybe after 1, maybe after 2, but definitely there's going to be a lot of players in during power hour, right? So let me scoot that up a little bit more, right? So now look at this right here, right? I really want you guys to pay attention to what this is, right? And again, this is just my opinion, but there's a term I really want you guys to start getting familiar with, because this right here, this term liquidity wicks, it will trick you out of your spot. Okay? So let's say, for example, you were in a call, right? You got into a call, let's say around this area right here, right? We saw it going up, right? And as it goes up, and I know what a lot of people like to do, they like to put their stop losses as it goes up. As their gain increases, they want to put their stop losses right behind it, right? And it only makes sense, right? You got to protect your capital at all costs, right? So it only makes sense, right? So what happens with this right here, what I will consider a liquidity wick, why? Because it's completely shot all the way up from 123.70, around 123.70, all the way up to 130.65, right? So any and everybody that was in this area, guess what? And they had their stop losses in this area, guess what? They were all kicked out, right? They were all kicked out. And because they were all kicked out, what happened? We got more downside momentum. We got that close around 119.14, and then we had a bullish candle, right, which pushed us up a little bit to 121 and some change, right? And now we're sitting right around 120.18. All right, so you gotta be careful with this, right? I know we like to set our stop losses, and which you should, right? But you gotta watch these liquidity wicks, because I'm starting to see them more and more, right? The market makers, when they want you to get out, they will kick you out, right? So you gotta make sure you are setting your stop losses at a nice position, okay? Very, very important, right? It's definitely crucial for your gains, right? And again, if you don't care about it, that's great too, right? Because guess what? You still took gains, right? But I'm talking about those who are swinging for the long run, right? You got to make sure when you're setting those trailing stops, you just got to be careful and watch those liquidity wicks, because they will catch you every single time, okay? Whew. All right. So, Alika, I hope that helps. All right, y'all. So what else we looking at, right? We got about 20 more minutes. What else are we looking at? Okay, let me know. Talk to me. Are you guys still feeling amazing? Are you guys still believing that we are in Take Gains Tuesday? I'm sorry, Take Gains Thursday, right? Talk to me. You are most welcome. AMD. I'm actually in some AMD positions as well. Now let's look at her. All right. And again, we're still on the hour, right? So I need AMD. Right now, AMD, okay, so we broke out of consolidation yesterday around 1:30. And now we had some nice, wait, hold on a second, let me come back up, sorry. We had some nice pre-market momentum, right, because of NVDA, right, and then we rejected right here, right, around 115 and some change, right. But hold on a second. Something's missing here. Let me look at something. And the reason why I say that something's missing here is because I had some alerts set here earlier, and they triggered at, what time was it? Let me find it. At 4 a.m. These alerts triggered. So where? Oh, let me go back to the hour. Oh, I guess it's not going to show me because the market wasn't officially open. Okay, that's fine too. But anyway, any rate. So right now, and AMD is sitting at 113.62, right? Still in the green, which is what we want, right? But if you fall below that 113.23, we are going to hit the top of support at 112.73, right? But I don't want NVIDIA to go that way, right? I want NVIDIA to continue some upward momentum. I want her to continue to follow her cousin, which is NVIDIA, all right? Do you think we should look at plays with Apple given all the activity? We could do that next. Absolutely. Listen, I'm here for you guys, right? If there's any plays you want me to look at, just let me know. All right. Oh, I'm sorry, any tickers you want me to look at, just let me know. All right. But as far as AMD, we need to break above that 114.22 to see some upward momentum up to the bottom of resistance at 114.73. All right. But as I mentioned earlier, yesterday she was consolidated, right? Which looks like to me a key area, right? So because it was a key area and she broke out, right? She broke out to the downside. So what that's telling me, coming to the upside, she may struggle a bit, right? So she is going to have to break out at 114.22 and then 114.73, 115.36, and 115.64. Once we hit that 115.64, we are going to see the $116 range, right? Which is where I want to be, right? That is for sure where I want to be. And I'm looking to take gains anywhere around 116.64 and 116.92. Okay? Those are my levels for AMD. All right? Now let's look at Apple, right? Let's see what's going on with Apple today. But first, before we look at Apple, let's find out what's going on with Apple News, right? Because we all know that that this administration, for some reason, has been going at it with Apple, right? I don't know if Apple seems to be the rogue company right now. I don't know. But either way, have you ever heard of a single company being hit with tariffs? I've never heard of it, right? But, you know, it's way above my pay grade. So, all right, so let's look at the news, right? So, see, Morgan Stanley cuts Apple's target price from $275 to $252. Man, oh man. And we were just talking about this, right? On May 23rd, that individual announced a 25% tariff on the sales made abroad. Man. And the deadline was extended to July 9th. Okay? Now let's see what else is going on. Apple is boosting manufacturing in India and Vietnam to lessen dependence on China, all right, in regards to those 25% tariffs, right? Because we all know, right, it's not a secret, who ultimately is paying for the cost of these tariffs? The consumer, right? So this administration could do tariff all they want, but it hurts the consumer more than anyone else, right? And then you have some companies that was very transparent saying, hey, and I'm talking about Walmart, saying, hey, look, you are going to pay for this, right? And then what the administration did? Nah, don't do that. Take ownership, right? So, which caused Walmart to tank a little bit. But, all right, so getting back to Apple, right? So because of all the negative news, I can see Apple going down to 199.32. Right now, we're looking at the hour. Let's look at it from a daily perspective, right? Apple is consolidated on the daily, okay? She broke down, rejected at 193 and some change, right? Excuse me. Got a little upward momentum, right? If she breaks that bottom of resistance at 206.79, we could definitely get some upward momentum, right? Up to 213.86, because that's when she would be officially out of consolidation. But looking at this specific candle, it's simply telling me that if we stay in this position moving in tomorrow, guess what's going to happen? We are going to wake up tomorrow pre-market and see Apple in the red. Okay? Let's look at what's happening with SPY real quick, because I've mentioned this in the past, right? Apple, NVIDIA, and Meta, or is it Microsoft? I believe it's Microsoft. They are the key players that move SPY, right? So if Apple is inside and Meta and NVDA is playing outside, guess what? SPY is going to make some nice positive moves. But if it's the reverse, then SPY is going to go indoors as well. All right. Let's go out a little bit further. Let's look at the 3-day on Apple. Again, consolidated. Let's look at the weekly. Again, consolidated, right? She's just now heading to the downside. I'm sorry, to the upside in regards to consolidation, right? She's been in consolidation since the week of May 12th, right? All of the negative news. This is really, really hurting Apple, okay? So if you are looking to play Apple long term, just make sure you are watching the news on a day-to-day basis, because as we can see with all of this negative talks, with the downgrading of the price targets, the tariffs, it's having an impact on their price. All right. So if this is the company you love, well, then that's another story. Once you believe in something, you go all in, right? But at the same time, I really want you to make sure you are watching all of the information that's taking place outside, so you can make a better decision on the inside. Okay, very, very important. All right. All right. So let's see. Let's get some more likes in here, y'all. Let's get some more likes. Please like these this live, because it helps push out the algorithm to other individuals that can use this information, right? My goal is to impact as many people as I can while I can. All right, so please, let's get some likes and let's get some shares. And please, definitely tell people about this channel, and we can all grow together. All right, I really appreciate you guys tapping in with me on this new journey that I'm on. Right, Tuesday was my first time going live, and I really do enjoy going live and talking to the people. All right, it's really, really cool. All right, because if any information I share, it definitely can help you position yourself in this market. All right. All right, let's see what else. We got about another 10 minutes, and then we're going to tap out. So what else can we look at? Real quick, I'm going to tap back into NVIDIA. All right, she is still, let's go back to the hour. Let's go back to the 5 minute. All right, still consolidated on that 5 minute, right? Still consolidated. Right, she's going to keep bouncing to see where that volume's at. All right, we're at 210 now. I can't remember what we were at before, but we're at 210. All right, we want to get closer. We want to get higher than the average volume in order to see that push in the direction we want NVIDIA to go. Okay. Let's see. All right, she's still looking good. Right, I just want her to break right there above that 142. I'm sorry, 141.93, so we can start moving in the direction to get out of this consolidation, right? But as we can see, looking at the 1 hour, right, looks like she wants to start consolidating, right? Because if we get any more of this bouncing in between, I would say 143 and 139. We are going to start consolidating, right? But now, again, the dope part about consolidation is that it's building that momentum so that when it breaks out, we're going to get something powerful, right? And that's what we want, especially if you are in some NVIDIA calls, all right? I hope somebody caught that video to the downside in between 935 and 950, right? That was a dope position to be in, right? And this is why it's important to understand how this market works. Okay, I didn't read that information somewhere. I didn't see it somewhere. Well, I saw it because I just collected the data on it, right? Every day in between 9:35 and 9:45, you are going to see some type of suspicious move, right? And the reason why is because folks are going to be taking gains. right? So you just got to be mindful of that. Anytime you see a significant run up, whether it's in pre-market, whether it's in the day before, after close, pre-market, in between 9:35 and 9:45, 9:50, folks will start to take gains. Why? Because then you're going to have some of those retail, or maybe even hedge funds, or maybe even um, retailers, retail, hedge funds, and I forgot what's the other group of individuals. But either way, we're all investors, right? You are going to see those individuals get in to try to ride that momentum, right? And then when they hit their target percentage gain, they are going to jump out, and they do not care at all. As long as they took their profits, that's all that matters to them, right? So we just got to be mindful of that time frame. So again, I'm gonna say it again: between 9:35 and 9:50 in that time frame, and then again between 10 and around 11, 11:30, because that's when the London market closed. So a lot of that volume is just not going to be there, right? But as you can see, we're moving up, right? When we just spoke about it, it was at 210, right? So we are slowly but surely building up that volume to push us in the direction we want to be. All right. Woo! Yeah, I love this game, y'all. As you can tell. All right, so we got about another 6 minutes. So if there's something you want me to look at real quick, let me know. Let me know. We looked at NVDA, we looked at AMD, we looked at CRWV, and we also looked at SMCI. Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It is definitely a privilege to be able to share this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding with you. All right, so we got UNH. Oh man, UNH has been, in the beginning, UNH was doing me beautiful, but maybe the last week or two, oh man, UNH, we just haven't been agreeing with each other. All right. All right, so I'm gonna look at UNH and then Costco, and then we're gonna tap out. All right. So UNH, I'm gonna talk about UNH from a swing perspective. Okay. So let's first look at the daily. Right. Right now on the daily, UNH is consolidated. Right. So again, what that means is that she's bouncing between two price points. Looking at where she's consolidated, right? Currently sitting at 297, which is just below half a percent, right? If she breaks that 303.48 to the upside, we are going to see some nice momentum to hit right here at the bottom of support at 312.94, right? And as you can see, I'm already plotting on some upward momentum based on my levels, right? So I got a level at 312.94. The next level is 318.79, 324.69. Because that right there is when, if she breaks out of consolidation to the upside, guess where she is going? 333.77. And I plan on catching every single bit of it, right? Me and a good friend of mine, we plan on tapping into UNH at some point and riding that baby all the way up as far as we can, right? But of course, what goes up must come down, right? So if she continues to the downside, right, and she falls below, what's this, 296.01, guess where she's going, right? She's gonna have to go right here at 289.05, right? So if you win some puts, you are definitely cooking today, especially if you got in yesterday, right? But if she breaks that 289.05, she's going to have to fall below 287.04 and then break out of consolidation to the downside at 268.98, right? That's a long way to go, right? Or maybe even if she has to break that 276.28 first before she officially breaks out of consolidation. Okay. We got Apple. I got an alert on Apple, right? I got alerts on AMD. So Apple and AMD are falling. All right. Let's go look back at Apple real quick. All right. Right there. We just talked about Apple, right? Right. The next level, I'm going to set it at 197.47. Okay. Going back to UNH. Right. So UNH is falling too. Right. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Let me blow that up a little bit more. Right. Right, we just talked about that level at 296.01, and she fell right through it. So guess where she's going next? 289.05. Right, let's look at the volume real quick. Average volume is 23.59. Right, 6.38. So it's clear who's in charge right now. Right, it's crystal clear. Right, so if you had some puts that you got in yesterday, you are cooking. Right, because we definitely gotten some momentum to come down to 289.05. All right, but as we all know, this can reverse. All right, so just be careful. All right. So I hope that helps, Myra. Again, I appreciate you tapping in and asking all of these for me to look at all these great tickers, because these are some tickers, and what I love about these tickers specifically is that they move in dollars versus in cents. Right. I like tickers that move in dollars. Right, because you could, especially as a day trader, you could be in and out. Right, if that delta is nice, right, for every dollar that joint moves up, it's a pretty nice gain. All right. Last, let's look at Costco. So that's COST. I appreciate you, Myra. Absolutely. All right. So we're gonna look at Costco from a swing perspective. Right, as you can see, if she rejects right here, right, because she's currently consolidated, right? If Costco rejects at 100.410, right, we are going to see some upward momentum, and then she's going to have to go above 101878, and anywhere above that, we're looking at 102428, right? And then we're looking at that breakout at the top of consolidation at 1029.25, right? But in order for that to happen, we need it to reject right here at 10.0410, right? And we're not up. Look at that. I don't know if you guys can hear that alert going off, but there we go right there. Let's stretch this a little bit more. All right. And this is really looking strong, right? Because we got the real body, this is called the real body, right? We got that pushing down versus a wick, right? So we may see it break out of consolidation just below that 10.0346, right? If we hit that 10.0346, right now we're at 6.8, right? We're at almost 1%. If we hit that, guess where she's going? She is coming out of consolidation, and we're going to see her hit around 993.90, right? This is from a swing trade perspective. We're looking at this on the daily, all right? Now let's look at it a little bit further out, right? We were in consolidation and broke out at the beginning of May, right? We got a little bit upward momentum and officially rejected around 1029.25, which is now why we see it bouncing to the downside. And I am almost certain, don't quote me, but we may see her go as low as 983.93 at that support level, unless something comes in the news that's going to be positive, that is going to turn the direction of Costco around, right? So let's see what Costco has going on. So Costco Wholesale is set to release its earnings report after the market closes on Thursday. Okay, all right. Wholesale tariff exposure is limited, affected by 1/3 of its U.S. businesses. Its scale allows for better vendor negotiations and quick inventory. Okay, not bad. Not bad at all. All right, but we got earnings coming, right? Earnings is in. Oh, it's today. Oh, duh. Today is Thursday. Okay, today is Thursday. So it seems that the reason why we're going down is because a lot of people don't anticipate Costco doing well, or it could simply means that leading up to earnings, people just decided to take whatever gains they could, right? So they probably took gains. What's today? Today's the 29th. They took gains last week, right? So they've been taking gains along the way. And we got a few buys here on last Friday, right? Pushed it all the way up a little bit to around 1024, right? So I got an alert from CNBC. Trump could ask Supreme Court to halt tariff block as soon as Friday. What did I tell you guys, right? I just told you guys he may have something up his sleeve, right? Look at that. So expect tomorrow to not look like today, right? Very, very important, right? Again, that this administration is predictably unpredictable, right? You can almost to the T predict how unpredictable this administration can be, right? When we were in the last administration, we had what I call a predictable prediction, right? That administration was highly predictable, which is why we saw so much positive movement in the market, right? He wasn't about all of that tough talk, right? He was I'm a work with you or I'm gonna lay down. That's the vibe I got from Biden, right? But now from this guy, he's like, we gonna go head to head, right? We throwing hands, right? So that is the vibe I'm 100% getting with this administration. And not only are we throwing hands, we taking your people with us, right? So you gotta be extremely careful and cautious when it comes to making some of these plays, all right? So again, just a quick recap on Costco, right? They have earnings today after close, all right? They will report in their information for Q2. No, I'm sorry, January, February, March, for Q1, right? So we have, if it falls below that 10.0346, we are going to see it start to trend down to 99.90. Okay, so we looked at it from an hourly perspective, and where did I see the consolidation? Was it the daily? No, it's the 3-day. Wait, did it break out of the consolidation? Hold on a second. I think it officially broke out of consolidation. Where was it? I know I ain't tripping. I know I ain't tripping. But either way, we still got some downward momentum to go. All right. So if you're in puts, super proud of you. If you are in calls, just be careful. All right. Especially if you are in calls for earnings, right? Because what is going to happen? IV crush is going to hurt you. All right. So you got to be careful with that, Eddie. All right. Very, very careful with that. All right. So, unfortunately, we have come to an end for the live. And as always, man, I really, really, really deeply appreciate you guys tapping in with me. It is always a pleasure to share any knowledge, wisdom, and understanding I have about the market with you guys, right? Truly, truly appreciate it, right? Also, if you are interested in having a more intimate conversation, you're more than welcome to book a one-on-one with me, right? You will get a clear understanding on how to move in this market, right? If you do not have a clear understanding on how the candles work, if you do not have a clear understanding on when to get in, how long you should be in, and when to get out, please tap in with me, right? Those are my 3 foundational pillars on how I operate in this market, right? I need to know when to get in. I need to know how long I'm staying in, and I need to know when to get out, right? And that is how I operate in this market on a day-to-day basis, all right? So with that said, again, I truly, truly appreciate you guys. And again, if you do want to tap in with the more intimate setting with the one-on-one, just simply click the link in the bio, all right, and check the times that are available, and we'll take it from there, okay? So you guys continue to take gains on this wonderful Thursday. I'm not sure where you are, but the weather may be nice. I know where I am. It's not too nice, but it's still enjoyable. But just make sure you take the time and enjoy your day, because guess what? You are amazing, and don't let nobody tell you different, because you deserve every single gain you take out of this market. All right? Again, thank you guys so much, and you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Peace.